Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Manager, Investor Relations, Microsoft Corporation, Bill Koefoed.
Thank you, and good morning, and welcome to FAM 2010. I'm going to start with some housekeeping, as we do every year. Hopefully you appreciate the weather this year a little bit better than last year, a little cooler for those of you who were here last year. In terms of housekeeping, the agenda and the PowerPoint slides are up on our new Investor Relations website under the Events tab. The URL for that is www.microsoft.com/investor, and we'll be loading the PowerPoint slides as we go throughout the day. In addition to that, for those of you who are here, you'll be receiving an email to get survey feedback. We'd like your feedback. We want to make sure that we understand what we're doing well this year and what we can do better. So when you get that email, there's a link to a website. If you put your name and company information, then we're actually going to have a drawing at the end of the day, and I can assure you the prize is worthy of submitting the survey feedback, so please do that. And speaking of the new IR website, in the past, you've voted for the Microsoft website for investor relations. It's one of the top IR websites of any company. And this year, we've raised the bar, as you could expect we would. And we hope that you really like the improvements. We've improved the navigation, the integration of content, and the usability. So please check it out. Again, submit your feedback. But it's something we spent a considerable amount of time on this spring and want your feedback. And we're pretty proud of the new IR website. We're also really excited about the day. As you know, we've changed the agenda around a little bit this year to make it more interactive, give you an opportunity to see our technology. I understand that some of you in the room haven't yet adopted Office 2010 in your work environment, so we're going to give you the opportunity to see that and see some of the other technology and some of the innovation that we have in a way that you can be talking to people and getting real hands-on experience of our technology. But rather than me tell you about it, I'm actually going to give you a preview of what that looks like. And let me cut over to Ryan, who's in our technology showcase.
Thanks, Bill. I'm over here at the Technology Showcase where we're putting the final touches on all of our demos to get ready for you to come over here in just a little bit. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek at what we've got going on here, though. Right over here, we've got Windows Phone 7. You're going to hear a lot about this today. It's really exciting, and you're going to get to see it firsthand. Over here, we've got Windows 7 and Windows Live coming together so that you can take your favorite photos, music, and video, put them together, share them, enjoy them in ways you've never done before. We've got them connected up to an Xbox, so you can even use your Xbox to enjoy them. And speaking of Xbox, you've heard about Connect. Well, we're going to show you what Connect really brings to life. Here you see some whitewater rafting. Very cool. We're going to let you actually play Connect. And over here, you see some bowling going on. Very cool. Virgil's been practicing for a bit. And strike. That's perfect. All right. So moving on down here, you have to do a little bit of work before you get to play. And so we want to show you the way you can really bring Microsoft products together. We've got Office 2010. We've got SharePoint, Exchange, SQL Server, Windows Server, Azure. We bring it all together, and we're going to show you how it really makes your work life a lot easier, a lot more fun, and a lot quicker. And at the center of all of this is PCs. So in the center of our technology showcase, we've got over 50 PCs for you to play with. We've got entertainment laptops. We've got gaming desktops. We've got everything you can imagine, so you can see all the different form factors that really bring the PC ecosystem to life. Behind me over here, if you want to explore the entire universe, we've got the Worldwide Telescope to really let you dive into that. And with more PCs, I've got some all-in-ones with touch over here. You can actually go ahead. I've got Worldwide Telescope here as well. I can go ahead, click right on it, and it takes me around the world and the whole universe. And these are a little bit larger with these all-in-ones. Well, we've also got some small PCs. I've got these two small PCs that fit in my pockets. We've got every type of PC you can imagine to really make it yours. So can't wait for you to come over here to the Technology Showcase and experience it for yourself. With that, back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Ryan. So again, we're trying something new this year, trying to give you a lot more of the engagement and the interaction with our technology. We hope you like it. And again, appreciate your feedback at the end of the day. But as you can tell, we're pretty excited. And for those of you who look to play Connect, we'll have it there. And I will tell you that it's a pretty good workout. So make sure you drink some good water before you play, because it's a pretty fun experience. Let me remind you that today's presentation may contain statements that are forward-looking. These statements are based on current expectations and assumptions that are subject to risks and uncertainties. Actual results could differ materially because of factors listed in the management discussion of the and analysis section of the company's most recent 10-K, quarterly reports on Form 10-Q, or in other reports and filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We do not undertake any duty to update any forward-looking statement. Let me take a minute just to remind you about our Q4 results. We were pretty proud of them last week, and I just wanted to hit on some of the highlights of what that looked like. Just to remind you that double-digit revenue growth in every single segment was part of the results that we released. That was a great result for us. One of you in the audience wrote in your analyst report that Microsoft is hitting on every cylinder, and I couldn't have said it any better. We were very happy with our revenue growth in each of the segments. As you know, operating income grew 49%. We had record fourth quarter revenue, operating income, earnings per share, and operating cash flow. Another thing you've asked us for is to continue to focus on cost control. It was the fourth straight quarter of margin expansion. Again, something that you've told us you're looking for. We had healthy demand in both business and consumers, and Office 2010 is off to a great start. As you know, we released that this quarter and had very good results, up 14% quarter over quarter. As we look back at the year, again, as you know, FAM is an annual event, let's take a look back at the year results for our business. For Windows and Windows Live, it's almost impossible to think back a year ago as we were standing here and remember what it was like before Windows 7. Since then, we've sold 175 million copies of Windows 7. It's on over 15% of the world's PCs. Obviously, there's an opportunity there for those that aren't on Windows 7, and we're super excited about the results. Obviously, Windows and Windows Live was up 23% year over year. Server and Tools. That business ended the year with both record revenue and record profit. It's funny, obviously I read the press, and some of the writing is we don't tell you enough about Server and Tools and some of the questions about that. It's now a $15 billion business and growing, as I said, at a good pace. For Microsoft Business Division, this year was all about the launch of Office 2010. And as I said, we feel great about the reception of Office 2010, and we exited the year nicely, as I mentioned, quarter over quarter growth in the mid-teens. Online services. Like with Windows 7, it's hard to imagine a world without Bing. We just launched Bing 13 months ago. We've had 13 straight months of share improvement. Customer satisfaction has increased pretty dramatically. And the most interesting thing is our leading competitor is imitating our features. So we think we've got a really great product out there. And again, as we look back a year ago, that had just been in market. And I think we had a lot of questions about what was going to happen with Bing. And clearly, we're excited about the momentum and the progress. For entertainment and devices, record profit for that business group this year. In addition to that, we're excited about the share momentum we've had in Xbox and the great buzz around Kinect. And as I said, you're going to have the opportunity to experience that here today. So in summary, for the year, revenue grew 7% to a record $62.5 billion. Our operating expense was flat year over year. That's something also that you've asked us for, is to maintain our focus and management on costs, and we feel really great about our progress there. Bookings for the year were up 10%, but most importantly for the fourth quarter, they were up 27% year over year, and we delivered record earnings per share of $2.10, up 30% year over year. So we feel great about the results that we had for this last fiscal year. And again, as I spent this last week talking to investors and analysts, I think for the most part, you guys are all super excited about the results that we put up as well. So thank you for your support, and we're working to continue to deliver great results for you guys. Obviously, this chart shows, if you look back over the last 4 years, we've had a nice trajectory of both revenue growth and EPS growth, and it looks like a nice trajectory, and we're looking forward to continue that as well. So now let's turn to the topic of the day. I want to start by talking about our focus or our core business areas. I think some people look at Microsoft and they think that we've got 25 focus areas, and others think we've got 2 core businesses, but really we have 8. And we're going to spend today talking to you about those 8 businesses. The first is Xbox and TV. Obviously, as I mentioned, as I talked about our entertainment and devices results, we're very excited about the opportunity with the TV and with Xbox as an enabler of the TV, and really see the opportunity there as a really big one and have great momentum going into this fiscal year. Windows Phone. We'll obviously talk to you today about our Windows Phone 7 that we'll have coming out this holiday season. And clearly, being relevant and being successful on the phone is something that we feel is very important. Bing. Obviously, search is a huge business, a growing business, and something that we feel like we've got a great product in market, and we'll continue to show that both in the technology showcase and in some of the presentations today. Windows, you're certainly familiar with. Microsoft Office, Office 2010, and really the productivity scenarios that we can offer with Office. And as you think about business users, that's really the business scenarios of manageability and virtualization, Exchange, SharePoint. So basically the things that we sell to businesses that aren't Windows Server and SQL Server. So we'll tell you more about what we're doing in that area. Obviously, we've talked to you before and had Windows Server and SQL Server integrated into one core business. And this year we've broken it out because it really is 2 different scenarios. One where we're selling an operating system, and one where it's really about the database, and we're competing hard against Oracle. And we feel like with SQL Server 2008 R2 that we've got some great innovation and some great initiatives going in that area. So as you think about some of the other things that we deliver, we have enablers of those 8 areas. And those enablers are stores. We've talked to you before about retail stores, which we've put several in market, and marketplaces. I talked on the call this last quarter about the Xbox Live digital marketplace being a huge source of growth. So we're going to continue to have stores and continue to have marketplaces and grow those enablers as we think about our 8 core businesses. We've had services and support in market for a long time, and as you think about that, that's really an enabler for our businesses to help businesses and to help enterprises really adopt and leverage the technology that we have. MSN is an enabler for Bing. Mice and keyboards, Media Room, an enabler for both Windows and in the case of Media Room for Xbox. Visual Tools and Windows Live, also enablers for our businesses. And Microsoft Dynamics sits down below because, as you know, it's more than $1 billion business, but also an enabler for the other areas of our core businesses. As we think about the cloud and think about the opportunity that we have in those businesses, really as an extension of those businesses, we're going to spend some time talking to you today about really the business user becomes one in the cloud, where we think about our business productivity online solutions and Windows Intune. And spending time talking to you about why we think that's just a great opportunity, why we think that's market expansive. Windows Azure you've heard about, and as we think about the operating system, we think about how the operating extends to the cloud and why we think Windows Azure is really the opportunity for us, particularly with the core and key assets that we have that we think are unique, to be able to extend our opportunity into the cloud and really help customers generate the opportunity and the satisfaction that they have from using Microsoft products. And finally, SQL Azure being the database that gets extended into the cloud as an area that we think is a super exciting opportunity and one that we're going to continue to talk to you about today. So those are our 8 businesses. We're going to spend time, like I said, talking to you about them today It's not, like I said, 25, it's not 2, but those are really our core businesses. And as you think about Microsoft, those are the areas that we're really focusing on, those 8 things. How do those translate into our segments? Obviously, Xbox and TV translate into our entertainment and devices segment. Bing translates into our online services division segment, Windows and the Windows and Windows Live segment. And similarly, Office, BPOS, and Intune down into the Microsoft Business division, and then Azure and SQL Azure being in the Server and Tools division. So that's, as you think about our 8 core businesses, that's how that translates into our business segments. So today, I've spent the last, couple weeks, couple months, obviously gathering feedback from you in terms of what are your top questions. I know some of you who are the sell-side analysts send emails around about here's our top 10 questions for Microsoft, and certainly we incorporated that into our feedback as well to the extent that we could. But what we're going to spend time today is really what are the questions that you have and making sure that we address those as part of our agenda through today. So your first question, kind of what's going on with the business PC refresh cycle, and how's Microsoft doing in terms of share? And Kevin Turner's going to talk to that first in his remarks about how are we doing around share and what is the business PC refresh cycle looking like, and how is Microsoft going to be successful in that opportunity. The second question is, what's the impact of iPad and slates on Microsoft? How's Microsoft going to participate in that? Clearly, that's something that we'll talk about, and you'll see that in Steve's remarks. Windows Phone 7. We've heard about it. We released it at the Mobile World Congress back in February. What does it look like? How's it going to work? How's it going to be competitive? For those of you who happen to see me sometime today, I happen to have one right here, and you'll see many people wandering around with these in addition to a demo that we'll show to you in Steve's remarks. Hey, Bill, you told us about Bing, 13 straight months of share gains. How's OSD doing? How's it progressing? What do you see as the opportunity? Again, Steve's going to cover in his remarks, but that's clearly also one of the questions that you ask. The next question, cloud revenue and margins. Hey, I get lots of feedback that you think Microsoft is well positioned to take advantage of the cloud. We have some unique assets. How are we going to benefit from revenue? Is it market expansive? How big's the size of the market? And what are the margins for Microsoft? And so in Peter's remarks, we'll talk about that. And then finally, this is an ongoing question that you have, certainly as Peter transitioned into his role this year. A lot of questions, and we'll continue to address in terms of how are we thinking about expense control and managing our operating expenses and the expenses for the business as we go forward. So I think that adequately captures your questions. Hopefully you'll feel satisfied as we go through the day that we're asking the right question, or that we're answering the right questions, and that you feel like you've got some good answers for these as we work through the day. And I think we feel really good about not only the agenda for the day, but making sure that we're hitting the things that are top of your mind.